Gravers, they are an amazing tool and can be a ton of fun, and they can also be terrifying and a huge pain. So I'm going to try to show you guys a few ways that will make your life a little easier when you're using gravers. Hello and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be walking you through on how I sharpen my gravers. So there are a few ways to do it. The way that I do it is with a power hone, and it's kind of an expensive setup, but honestly it's worth it. I took out a credit card to buy this system because I was living in fear of always chipping my gravers and not being able to have a sharp graver, and it's a pain. At this point I'm comfortable enough that I can get the same geometry with just a diamond wheel on my flex shaft, and so I don't live in as much fear as I did before. But when you don't have a great sharpening system, it can be terrifying if you chip a graver, because it can be such a bummer. So I'm going to walk you through a few of the ways that I sharpen my gravers. So first off, let's walk through a couple different gravers. This one right here is an onglet, and it doesn't come shaped like this. Well, you can buy them pre-sharpened, but usually this curve is cut into them. And this is something that I learned to set stones with originally, but I don't really ever use them anymore, but I can still show you how to sharpen that. Next is a 90-degree graver. Again, this is also something I don't ever use, but I'll show you how to sharpen it. And then a flat graver, which I do use to clean up around bead cuts quite frequently, and also for background removal for engraving. Then my 120-degree C-Max graver, and that's what I use the most. I use that in everything from stone setting to engraving and everything down the line. So this right here is just a bent burr. This was in my flex shaft, and it fell and hit something, so it's bent, and so I can't use this anymore. But I'm going to show you how to take an old burr like this, and this is a carbide burr, and sharpen it into a new graver for you to use. You can just grab it with your pliers and break off the tip. Okay, so once it's broken, you can now sharpen this into a new graver. So this is one of the quick change collets from GRS. These are really affordable, and you can stick anything from gravers to old burrs in. And all you need to do is stick in your graver, in this case an old burr, and tighten down. And you want to make sure that it's tight, especially if it's round. For something like a flat graver or an onglet, it's really easy to tell which side is down. But when you're working with a round stock like this carbide 120 degree or this old burr, if you don't get it down tight and you start sharpening it and it shifts at all because you didn't tighten it down enough, it's really hard to get the same angle, and you usually just have to reshape the whole thing to get it sharp again. Okay, so before we get too deep down in the rabbit hole, I'll explain a little bit of what these tools are. So the power hone is basically just a motor that spins different grinding discs, and these are all diamond plates, and then this is a ceramic disc. And you put the plate on. I'll just show you, for example, this is a 260 grit, which I would use for shaping. And then you turn it on, and you can choose the direction you want right here. This is a magnet plate that sticks on top that you can put your dual angle fixture right on. And then this is what holds steady when you're sharpening your graver. Now this over here is an amazing tool called the Easy Graver. And if you're using a certain geometry like 120 degrees, this is amazing because you can't fail. Every single time it's going to be the right shape, because this fits on your piece just like this, and every single side of your graver that you're trying to shape fits right on. But for today, first we're going to start with the dual angle fixture. And so how it works is you load up your graver and slide it into the back, and there's a spot you can adjust where you can either open it up or tighten it down right in the front. And so you stick your graver all the way in till it's poking out this side, and then again tighten it down so it doesn't move, especially if it's round. It might need a little bit more pressure. Okay, so to get it started, you want this to be on 0. So you spin it around all the way until you get to 0. And then you're going to lock it down. And so then you're going to need to change the post angle. And for this one, I'm going to set it to 50. So you loosen this so that you can shift it down, take it right to 50, and then tighten it in place. So once you have it locked into position at the right angles, you slide it down on your post. And before you put it on the plate, it always needs to be spinning, at least when you're shaping it. So once it's down and once it's on this, I'll click it on. And you can choose whichever direction you want it to go, but the important thing is that it's running away from the way you have your engraver faced. And by that, I'll show you what I mean. So if I have it here, what I would want to do is have the engraver facing. Now since this is a short engraver, I'll probably move it a little closer. So if I'm facing on this side, I want to have it spinning that way. So I'll shape it like this. If I'm facing this way, this might depend on if you're right or left-handed, I'll spin it that way. You just never want the diamond wheel spinning towards your engraver, because no matter what, you're going to kind of chip the end of your engraver. Alright, so it's spinning now. So I'll take it down, and I always am moving back and forth. I'm not really putting pressure on, I'm just letting the weight of the dual angle be what's holding it down. I'm not pushing down at all. So I put it down, and then I just glide it back and forth. After I've gone in with my 260 grit, I'm going to switch the plate to 600, and then from 600, when you're going up to finer grits, you don't need to do it as long as when you're shaping it with the 260 grit. Now I'm taking it up to 1200 grit. This is just a piece of leather that I've put some diamond powder on, and I even just some diamond spray that actually comes with the sharpening system. But often when I'm reshaping, the engraver can get like little pieces of fuzz on it, so I'll just go over it and just rub that off. That just gets rid of any metal burrs that are on the outside and gives you a nice clean face. After you have shaped the face, which is the big front side, you can loosen your setup, and you want to turn it all the way around. So 180 degrees, back to 0. And then from there, we can turn it to 45. And then tighten it up. So once you have changed the heel angle to 45, I loosen this and take it to 15 degrees for the post. Then tighten it up. When I'm sharpening the heel on this, shaping the heel, I barely tap it down, and this is still the 1200 grit wheel, and you watch how quick it is. All I do is just tap it down and then it's done. That's it. So now I'm going to loosen it and turn it to 45 on the other side. Tighten it back down. So for a engraver this short, you might need to move the post and have it spin the other way in order to get the heel to touch. But I'm going to show you again. The plate is always going to be running away from the tip of the engraver, and all I do is just tap it down. That's it. So once it's all shaped up, I'll open up the top, slide the engraver out, and then I might run over, just with that leather pad, just a couple of times, just to make sure there aren't any burrs, and it's looking pretty clean. Now, a really easy way to figure out if your engraver is sharp after doing that is just to use your thumbnail and just see if it stops. If it doesn't, it'll slide right up your thumbnail, but if it's sharp, it'll stop. Now, these 120-degree engravers can be great for stone setting and hand engraving, and they're really versatile. You can use them in a bunch of different applications. The next engraver we're going to work with is a flat engraver. I'll show you how to sharpen that right now. So to get your flat engraver in, you're going to have to loosen this top part, which adjusts the opening. And so once you've got that, slide your engraver in and then tighten it on down. And you just want to make sure that your engraver is 90 degrees. You want it right in this little notch, and then tighten it down. That's what it should look like. So because this is a flat engraver, you want to set it to 0 so that the face is pointing down. And there is more than one 0 on this, but you can see if I turn all the way to the other 0, the face would be up when it's sharpening. So you want to turn it all the way down to 0 so the face is pointing down, then tighten it up. And for this one, the face, we're going to make it 50 degrees for the post. So you can loosen it up, take your post angle to 50 degrees, and then tighten it down. Now mine is already shaped, but I'm going to show you as if I was reshaping this. So I'm going to slide it down, and I'm going to start shaping. So make sure the wheel is always spinning away. Now we'll go up to the next wheel. This is 600. The last one was 260. Now we'll go to my 1200 grit. So to sharpen the heel, you need this to spin all the way around so that the face is facing up. So I loosen this, and I'm going to turn it to 0 on the other side. Complete 180. And I'll tighten it down. And the angle, I'm going to turn from 50 to 20. So I'll loosen this, and I'll slide it all the way to 20. Tighten it up. Now I'll slide it on the post and turn it on. So for the heel, again, I'm barely going to touch it down because I don't want a huge heel on there. That's it. So you can take it to your trusty piece of leather and just give it a good rub. Then you can loosen it up, take it out. So let's see if it's sharp again. Looking good. You should see a nice clean face reflecting the light. And then you can see the heel. The onglet and the 90 degrees I would sharpen the same way that I did my carbide engravers. I'd set this to 0 for the face, I'd set the post to 50, the post angle to 50, and then for the heel I would do 45 on either side. And for the heel, I would set the post angle to 15. Next, let's talk about this easy engraver system. Now this is my favorite because, like I said, for most of what I do, I always like to use a 120 degree C-Max engraver. So the great thing with the easy engravers is they have this little front piece designed for their cullets from GRS. So all you have to do is loosen this, and this slides right in. And you'll always be at the same spot because there's this little notch here that this slides right into. So once that's locked in, I'll tighten it down. And it's nice because it breaks it down. So you know this is 120 degrees, and you know which each hole goes to. So if I'm trying to sharpen the face, you know right where it goes. The one that says face. If you're doing the heels, it's this. If you're reshaping, you go on the reshape sides. So if I was completely reshaping a graver or making a graver from an old burr, I would go back to the 260 grit and work my way back up to 1200. Just for sharpening or touching up, you can stick with the 1200, that works fine. So I'll show you once you get it started. Now I'm just gonna do the face, which is this center one. So I mark that down. Again, this is always running away from the tip of the graver. And I'm not pushing down at all. I'm letting the weight of this be what's holding it down. Slide it back and forth. And you can always check with a loop if you want to make sure that you have the right face, because sometimes gravers can chip a little bit and you want to make sure that you grind off all of the area that's chipped. So once your face is good, like that, you're going to slide it into the heel shape. And remember, I barely tap it down. That's it for that side. Now see, this can be the issue sometimes. You might need to back up your magnet post because it could just hit the edge of that. So let me do that. Lift it up, move it back a little bit. If that wasn't too far, we'll see. Okay, just tap it down. I'll do the same too. I'll rub it on this little piece of leather. Make sure it's good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that helps to break down a little bit of what sharpening gravers can do for you. I show my examples on a Power Hone because that's what I use, and to me GRS is worth it just because of the ease of knowing that that easy graver system will be right every single time, and even with the dual angle fixture it's consistent, and I can not spend as much time thinking about the angles that I need to do and get it right every single time. So for that alone, that's why I suggest GRS. If you don't want to drop the money on it, which I can totally understand, there is a Lindsay sharpening system, which is just a series of plastic plates that you can put your graver into and run it on a diamond plate. And that's a lot more affordable, but I just don't have experience doing that because that's just never the route that I took. So I can send links to that if you guys want to go down that route, but otherwise, if there's anything more you want to learn about certain graver geometry, let me know and I'll fill you in with what I do. I personally use the 120 degree graver for just about everything, from cutting all of my beads for pavé to completely hand engraving the backs of my pendants. So that's the graver that I like the most, and so that's the one that I kind of highlighted. But if there's another one that you want to learn, let me know. If there are any questions that you have about anything to do with gravers, let me know, or anything to do with jewelry. I'm happy to help. But either way, I'll see you next week. All right, thanks for watching.